Tony and Matteson's on the score.
Hey, I completely disagree with all you're saying. I really think it's disrespectful for when a guy is 20 or 21 years old, could dribble a basketball, and now uses that platform to spew some
disrespectful to whom?
Who are you talking about?
It's disrespectful to anybody with any sense.
Well, which player? Why
would I respect what Steve Kerr says? Why do I coach basketball? Why do I care about his political opinions?
Because he's a citizen in this community.
Right. Why wouldn't you care?
Because that's not why I like Steve Kerr.
Oh, so
why can't it be?
So Tony, you only care about why you like people. You don't care about what makes them. You don't care about the things that make who they are as a person.
Why do you find it so threatening?
No, I'll tell you why. Because I think people like what you guys are saying is you're not changing with the times. This is not 200 years ago. These borders need to be shut down. Walls need to be built. We need to isolate ourselves from all these
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. And I got
Tony, before you give me the news, let me ask you this, Tony, because I've heard this before. I'm going to listen to you. But if you think that is the case due to terrorism in this country, do you think that young white men who are, of the Christian, religion, do you think that they should be banned as well, especially in the state of South Carolina?
Jason,
I'm asking you.
No, it's a fair question, Tony.
No, I don't think it is a fair question.
Why?
I don't think it is. But no, I
Why
don't
not?
think they should be banned.
Why not?
I don't look. What you
tell me why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'll tell you why not. Because I don't think they're the problem. That's why.
Well, Dylan Roof was the problem.
Pretty recently here, nine people.
That's okay. So you could pick out little bits and pieces.
That's really not little. Murdering those people was little.
Tony, but why do you feel this strongly? Because you were going to give me the truth just now, so I want to hear you. I want to hear you.
The truth is that if those doctors from the Middle East didn't help you out in whatever way they helped you out, and I'm sure they were great, an American doctor would have. It's not like that was your only option and she would have died otherwise.
But the beautiful part about it is that someone from another country was allowed to be here.
Why
first
is that
or
beautiful? What's beautiful about that?
Because that's what our country is founded on.
No, that's what our country was founded on, but times have changed to get with it.
No, they really haven't.
No.
Yes, they really have. It's a much more dangerous place.
But isolating people makes it more dangerous.
That's only according to you, not according to 100 million Americans.
No. It's Tony. If you listen to military experts, if you listen to terrorism experts,
Tony, you want to live in a country where you look like the people that are around you and are in your family only?
I want to choose to be around who I want to be around.
Why would you choose not to be around?
Why would you not want to be around Muslims?
I didn't say I didn't want to.
That's essentially what you're saying. Let's not beat around the bush.
I do agree with heavily vetting. I do agree with.
We already do.
Do you know what it takes?
It takes 2 years
for a Syrian to get here.
It takes 2 years to get into this country.
Okay. Well, then how about this, Dan? How about you know my wife? You've met my wife. My wife has half her family in Canada waiting to get here legally. So now, how fair is that all these other illegals are here illegal and they get to reap the benefits that my wife's family?
If you're talking about illegal immigration as opposed to that has nothing to do with the religious ban of people from other countries. It is.
I disagree with what they say, but that's what they're saying.
The president tweeted today that it is a ban.
But back to this sports angle of this. You really think that in a country where guys do what they do for a living professionally, you think your profession should prohibit what you say and how you interact with the public?
No, I don't think you should.
That's what you said. You said why do I care what a 21 or a 20-year-old does when he dribbles a basketball?
But that's different. I'm not saying they should prohibit it. Say whatever you want. I'm saying I don't care, and I don't see why anybody else would care who LeBron James is voting for. Could care less.
Could not care less.
Championships.
You could not care less.
It's could not could. But this is the other thing. The other question
Tony,
I have.
You don't want a solution, Tony. You want everybody to be angry.
You
want everybody to be angry.
I want to get back to this point about when Jason said the doctors that helped him out were Muslim doctors that helped him out, and then you responded by saying it would have been American doctors.
Right.
You know what? Those Muslim doctors are and were American.
I didn't call them Muslim doctors. Jason did.
Yes, but you didn't recognize.
I said Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern. The problem is you didn't.
Middle Eastern descent.
You didn't recognize them as the Americans that they are. That's what's wrong, is that Americans are of all different colors and Americans are of all different religions.
Okay. Well,
And if you have a problem with that, I just think it's really unfortunate.
Well, whatever.
It's not a whatever.
And see, you weren't attacked, Tony, and I'm glad you got out what you got out. The problem that I have is, especially in what this country is supposedly built on, it all of a sudden it's not for anyone else. It stops now.
You sound like a bunch of sore losers.
Tony,
you would have Tony, you would have when
Tony, do you understand? I'm not losing at life in the least.
No, and I'm not.
So what are you saying?
And
here?
I'm also not being sore. I'm not sore in any capacity.
You are.
We gave you the conversation
Tony,
that you wanted to have, and since we're not screaming at you, you don't know how to have it right now.
But here's what I know.
That's not true.
No,
I'm a nice guy.
It's not about being nice, but you came on here very aggressive and screaming, and we're talking to you about it, and all of a sudden you're talking about you don't care what a 20, 21-year-old basketball player has to say, or that an American doctor could have saved my child the same way as a Middle Eastern doctor. I mean, the problem is, Tony, that you don't see this country for the beauty that it is.
No, that's not fair. I see the country for the beauty that it was.
When was it beautiful?
When?
It's changed.
When was it beautiful?
I would say 2001 it changed.
Okay, so when for you was life and this country beautiful?
So 9/11 was that turning point for you?
It sure was.
Okay, then why?
None of the people from these countries that are banned were involved in 9/11,
Do you know what countries produced 9/11 terrorists?
I saw the whole thing. I watched CNN.
Do you know what countries produced those terrorists?
Dan, what countries, Dan?
Saudi Arabia primarily, and and the United Arab Emirates, and those countries are not part of the ban.
Okay.
Why do you think that's the case, and is that okay with you?
Well, why do I think it's the case? I think it's the case because probably our president
has business in those countries.
Yeah, he's got hotels.
He has hotels there.
What they believe the problem was.
Okay, but Tony, wait a second. Hold on. You mentioned 9/11. You know that this particular policy has no impact on the countries that produced those terrorists.
I think the country's safer today than it was yesterday.
You're filibustering here.
Really?
The countries that produced the 9/11 terrorists are not part of this.
First of all, I'm not filibustering, and you should know what the meaning of that is.
Tony, do you have a problem with the fact you brought up 9/11? The countries that produced those terrorists that carried out those attacks are not on this list.
Do I have a problem with it? Well, I'll go along with I'll trust my president and his Security Council and what he decided were the most dangerous countries at the moment. Later on, they might be put on the list. They might not be. I don't know.
Tony, do you have anybody around you who was affected by this?
I mean, I got. Like I said, I'm first generation here.
Tony, no. I'm talking about. Do you know anybody? Whether it's people you work with, guys you play cards with, guys you go drinking with.
You're first generation here of what ancestry?
My dad's Italy. I'm Italian.
Okay, so you're first generation Italian. You know that there was a time when there were waves of Italian immigrants, when people made the same arguments you made and said, keep them out. The times have changed. When the Italians and the Irish were coming over, these same arguments were made.
Jobs were being taken, disease was being brought.
What's a real American? What's not a real American? When there were waves of Italians that people wanted boats turned away, and the same people, turned away boats of refugees from the Holocaust, turned them away. And my worry is that you would have been one of the same people turning away those boats as well.
Not true, Dan.
It is true. You've made it very clear that you would have been one of the people turning away the boats of Italians, turning away the boats of the Irish, and turning away the boats of the Jews as well.
Your hypocrisy. You know damn well.
There is
who you want to be around. That's not true at all. You don't go to 101st and State at 1 in the morning. Why not? Because it's dangerous.
Okay, Tony. I'm not sure where you're going, but this has run its course, and thank you for the call.
Yeah, I wanted to know why you felt the way you felt about players and coaches having a thought on something other than dribbling a basketball. Like we talk about guys going to school and getting an education and learning life lessons. People are actually using and applying some of those life lessons and using their platform, whether they be Trump supporters or never Trump people, whatever the case may be. But having a conversation is definitely important. And Tony, it's not as scary and as as bad a world as you think it is, man. You probably need to introduce yourself to some people who don't look like you and hear their story, and maybe you'll soften a little bit on that stance. Hopefully, man, because it's a big, beautiful place out here. Like, I couldn't imagine. I mean, even my time in Atlanta, I used to talk to Kenny Smith about, he asked me about, like, how you like living in Atlanta after living in Chicago? And Atlanta's a nice city, but the lack of diversity when it comes to not just white and black, but I'm talking about, like, Muslims or, Asians or
Eastern Europeans.
Like, you seeing those different colors and textures walking